Hi, I'm Jason Leahy, Executive Director of the Illinois Principals Association. Thanks for joining me for this IPA talk, and today, fortunate to have with me here in the office Dr. Anthony McConnell. Going to talk a little bit about a book that you wrote here not too long ago, and really excited about it. Anthony, I read the book, The Principled Principal, 10 Principles for Leading Exceptional Schools. We want to talk to you a little bit about that, and obviously we'll mention your co-author of this book too, Dr. Jeffrey Zoul. Did this with you, but before we get into that and talking about the book, let us know who you are.
I'm Anthony McConnell. I'm Superintendent of Schools in Deerfield, Illinois. And before that, I was a principal and a teacher. Live in Lake Villa, have with my wife and 2 kids, 10 and 6. So I'm a superintendent, parent, living the dream, doing it all the time, balancing it like everybody else is. So.
Yeah, and as of this recording, not that long into the first superintendency.
Yeah,
here, right?
I think we're 18 days now, maybe. Right. I've been joking, you still count in days during the first month, and so
Right.
So just starting. Fantastic district, taking over for a wonderful superintendent who's got our district in such an amazing place, amazing school board, amazing community, really supportive of all the things we're doing in the schools. You really couldn't ask for a better situation.
That's awesome. Well, terrific. Well, best of luck in that new position.
Thank you so much.
And appreciate that. And you're here with me today, obviously in multiple responsibilities. We got the book here to talk about, but also been facilitating our Aspiring School Leader Network that we just started and got off the first couple of days with that, doing that with Dr. Scott Schwartz as well, and that's been wonderful. So appreciate everything that you've been doing here with us at IPA.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's been amazing. We had a great group of aspiring principals come through, and I appreciate IPA's investment and interest in developing that next generation of leaders, because the principal is an important job. That's kind of what we wrote about. It's a really important piece of a successful school.
We need high-quality leaders to set the environment and the stage so that teachers can be successful. So let's talk about that, because that's really what, as I've read this and really enjoyed reading it, Anthony, that's what you guys are getting at here with this book. So one of the things I always like to ask people, what was, I guess it's almost cliche-ish to say it this way, but what was the inspiration here? What was the why behind writing this book? Why did you guys go about this topic in this way? So
one of the things that I thought about as I was leaving the principalship, I had just been hired as an assistant superintendent, and Jeff Zoul, who's a co-author there, he was retiring. And as I was leaving the principalship, I talked to him and I said, I don't know that I'm going to ever have as much direct knowledge about this role as I have today, right now. And so we talked a little bit about how important the principal was, talked about how I'd miss it. He talked about how much he enjoyed being a principal. And so we decided to think about, what we would put together that might help people moving into that role. And our people who wanted to be principals and who aspired to school leadership. What was it that we knew, that we had learned? And then not only that, one of the great things that I like that we did is we didn't just take the 2 of us. We went out to 30 principals all across the nation, from Hawaii to New England, award-winning principals, and we said, tell us a story about one of these principals. Tell us how you do this in your school, because we also wanted to compile the learning from all of great principals around the United States and what they're doing as well. That's awesome. Next time you're in Hawaii, by the way, researching for a book, I'll be happy to go along with that. But so you get to 10 here when you're with your writing, but I'm sure there were many that you put up on the board. So as you guys were thinking about this, what made these 10 special, or what got you down to 10 to begin with? I think, we tried to think of things that fit together, how things kind of combined into one. We added in some that maybe we haven't really talked about before. Specifically, one of them is called the Harmony Principle, and it really addresses this idea about how the principal really needs to be the calmest person in the room a lot of times. It's not something that I'd ever read about a whole lot being addressed, and having people speak on a lot. So we came up with 10, or just when we just made the list, that's what we ended up on, and it worked out nicely. So of these 10 then, Anthony, which of them maybe resonates mostly with you, or did you enjoy writing about the most? Yeah, one of the ones I think that, a couple that I really liked is the the priority principle. It's the one that we lead the book off with. And it's one that there's a lot of different beliefs about it and a lot of things that I think are true in both ways. Jeff and I have discussed this a whole lot. We know the Patrick Lencioni quote, if everything's important, nothing's important. But at the same time, if there's something that we're doing in our schools, that we're doing with our students, that we're taking that precious time out of the school day to do, it should be important.
Right.
And it should be valuable to their learning. And so in the priority principle, one of the ideas we have is that everything is important. And I know that's sometimes hard for leaders to understand and get their heads around, but the truth is we have a really important job. We're responsible for our children and their learning and growth, and we just have to accept the responsibility that if we're spending time with kids doing it and teachers, it better be vital to their education and to what they need.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, I will tell you, and I enjoyed reading about all of them, but the one that probably stuck out to me the most, because I think it really gets to the core of what I think about with leadership and what it takes for leaders to be successful, is the self-leadership principle.
Yeah.
The whole concept that if you can't lead yourself well first, you're sure not going to lead others. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's most critical, and I appreciate you guys spending some time on that. So tell me this, Anthony, how did you guys go about the process of writing the book together, co-authoring that? How'd you get that done? Because I think people, I think it's impressive to write a book. Mm-hmm. It really is, because it takes time, effort, focus. You're sacrificing, obviously, other things that you can be doing. So how did you guys go about this process, just in case somebody else is interested in doing this themselves?
Well, Jeff retired and went and was doing speaking and consulting and different things right after that, and I moved into a new role. So we were together face to face just in the very beginning of this book while we were sort of ironing out some of the details of it. But one of the things I like to think about when we think about what opportunities are we providing our kids is Jeff and I wrote this entire book, did all the collaboration on it. We didn't see each other from the time we wrote the first word until the time it was published. Wow. So we did everything on this book completely electronically and collaboratively through Google Docs. We worked with the editor electronically. We designed the covers electronically with people. So it was really something that was a good process for me to think about how there's so much more opportunities we have now with the technology that we have, that literally if there was somebody that you wanted to write a book with that was in Los Angeles, that's doable now. Right. That exchange of ideas, that collaboration is possible because that's what we did with this book. So what we would do is either Jeff or I would sit down, we would draft out a couple of sections, we would send it to one another, we would make some edits, we'd send it back. We would chat through email or on the phone, or maybe sometimes we would Vox each other through Voxer and share some ideas, and then we'd put that one to bed and we'd move on to the next one. Wow. And we probably knocked it out in maybe about 3 months.
Holy, wow, that's incredible. That's terrific. I'm guessing there was a little accountability.
Yes,
having a co-author there too, right? Keeping each other on track.
One of the things this is the first book I've written, other than our dissertation, which is just a big feat. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I'd say that I learned about it, and Jeff's authored numerous books, is that I take for me when I move on to do anything in the future, is that if you put a lot of time into planning it ahead before you actually just start writing, it really makes it go faster and it really pays off. We spent a lot of time ironing out what the different subsections would be, what the chapters would be, and really getting the idea of what we wanted to say before we actually begin drafting it. And that was super helpful.
That's terrific. Well, I strongly encourage individuals to take some time, read through this, the Principle, 10 Principles for Learning, or Leading rather, Exceptional Schools. Appreciate your guys' effort in doing this, and appreciate that you guys are going to be at our fall conference here in October presenting on this, and I think we're going to try to have you guys available to do a signing of the books and,
that'd be
making
great.
Those available to people as well. So
that would be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well, our pleasure. Again, my name is Jason Leahy, Executive Director of the Illinois Principals Association. Appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to check out the links here on the screen, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you're interested in buying this outstanding resource, go to the description here at the bottom of the screen, click on the link, and you can find it on Amazon.